Chapter 1. The Fading Light. The warm Roman sun, now a tired, colossal orb, commenced its slow, deliberate descent below the distant, hazy, and ancient hills. Long, elongated shadows stretched lazily across the meticulously manicured gardens, gracefully embracing ancient, silent statues with their cool, gentle touch. A soft, almost imperceptible breeze, carrying the faint, pleasant scent of cypress and olive trees, rustled through the villa's numerous open courtyards. The last, fading chirping of busy, tireless cicadas gradually diminished, replaced by a profound and enveloping sense of deep quietude within the opulent, sprawling walls of Villa Amelia. The day's bustling, ceaseless activities were peacefully winding down to a tranquil, serene close. Slaves moved with practiced, hushed efficiency, diligently preparing the vast household for the approaching stillness of twilight and nightfall. Far off, the faint, melodic bleating of distant, unseen sheep offered a gentle, rhythmic counterpoint to the villa's peaceful evening hum. Marcus, the villa's venerable, esteemed proprietor, comfortably reclined on a richly upholstered couch in his spacious, quiet study, a scroll loosely held in his hand. His eyes, though still remarkably keen, were beginning to feel the pleasant, heavy weight of an entire day filled with administrative, meticulous duties. The intricate patterns on the ceiling, gracefully depicting mythological scenes, seemed to blur into a soothing, indistinct tapestry, inviting slumber. He had spent the entire morning diligently overseeing the harvest of his vast, productive vineyards, ensuring the grapes were perfectly ripe. The afternoon was dedicated to meticulously reviewing complex ledgers, a tedious but utterly necessary task for his expansive, prosperous estate. Now, as dusk gently settled, a profound, pervasive weariness began to seep into his very bones, a deeply comforting, familiar exhaustion. His toga, though finely woven from exquisite fabric, felt heavy and familiar against his aging frame, almost like a second skin. The small oil lamp on his ornate, low table flickered softly, casting a warm, golden, and gentle glow on the ancient papyrus. He wasn't actively reading anymore, merely allowing his profound thoughts to drift languidly, like soft clouds across a serene summer sky. The ancient script before him detailed the latest agricultural innovations from distant provinces, surprisingly dull and unsteady. He calmly considered the day's various successes and minor frustrations, all now dissolving into the general quiet of the settling villa. A distant, soft splash from the courtyard fountain provided a tranquil, rhythmic punctuation mark to the deepening, pervasive twilight. The air grew progressively cooler, promising a comfortable, welcome respite from the day's lingering heat and oppressive, sticky humidity. Soon, the entire household would gather for a simple, light supper, a modest, unhurried affair before the night's deep slumber. He closed his eyes briefly, savoring the profound stillness that had descended so completely upon his magnificent Roman domain. The soft, continuous murmur of his household was a familiar lullaby, a comforting assurance of order and peaceful domesticity. He was a man of considerable wealth and influence, yet he found the greatest solace in these quiet, unhurried, peaceful moments. The vast empire might hum with political intrigue, but here, in his private, secure villa, only profound peace reigned supreme. He imagined the stars slowly emerging in the deepening azure sky, one by one, like tiny, scattered, shimmering jewels. The world outside his villa gates felt remarkably distant, a faint, forgotten echo from a different, more demanding existence. His breathing became slow and even, a gentle, regular rhythm perfectly attuned to the encroaching quietude of the evening. He was drifting, slowly and pleasantly, on the very cusp of true and utterly profound relaxation, an ideal, serene state. The subtle scent of burning olive oil from the lamps began to fill the spacious room, adding to the pervasive tranquility. It was an aroma deeply associated with evenings spent in quiet contemplation, a comforting and deeply familiar smell. The rustling of a distant, unseen leaf was the only sound that dared to disturb the perfect hush within the study. He felt the comfortable, familiar weight of the scroll in his hand, a tangible connection to the ancient world he inhabited. Yet, at this precise moment, the specific contents of that long scroll seemed utterly inconsequential and completely forgettable. His mind was a blank slate, cleansed entirely of the day's concerns, embracing the beautiful simplicity of the present moment. But it was these quiet moments, devoid of any significant demands, that truly brought him the most profound peace. The distant, haunting call of a solitary night bird echoed softly through the vast, open spaces of the villa. It was a mournful, yet profoundly calming sound, subtly adding to the pervasive, sleepy atmosphere of the evening. He exhaled slowly, a long, drawn-out sigh of utter contentment, releasing the last vestiges of the long day. The soft light from the oil lamp cast dancing shadows on the walls, creating ephemeral, shifting, mesmerizing patterns. These playful shadows seemed to mimic the gentle undulations of his own approaching, deep, peaceful slumber. He smiled faintly to himself, a small, private gesture of profound and utter relaxation, completely at peace. Soon he would retire to his luxurious cubiculum, where the softest linen awaited his weary body. Sleep, a sweet, potent balm, would soon envelop him, carrying him far away into the realm of pleasant dreams. For now, he simply existed in this liminal space, between day's complete end and night's deep embrace. The villa itself seemed to breathe with him, a living entity, settling down for its own long, peaceful rest. The silence was so complete, he could almost hear the steady, gentle beating of his own contented heart. This was the profound and utterly serene beauty of a Roman evening, slowly, gradually, beautifully unfolding. He allowed his hand to drop, and the scroll softly unfurled, its ancient words now completely forgotten. His eyelids felt incredibly heavy, a delightful burden that promised the release of deep slumber very soon. He would simply sit here, bathed in the soft lamplight, until sleep finally, gently, claimed him entirely. The very air felt thick with a pervasive sense of peace, a tranquil stillness that permeated everything. This was the end of another ordinary day, slipping gracefully into the embracing quiet of a long, peaceful night. Chapter 2. The courtyards murmur. The central peristyle courtyard, usually a vibrant hub of ceaseless activity, was now bathed in the soft, fading light. Its elegant columns, meticulously carved from fine Italian marble, stood as silent sentinels, guarding the villa's inner peace. The cool, refreshing water in the impluvium, catching the last gleam of twilight, perfectly reflected the deepening sky. Fish, their scales glinting briefly, occasionally broke the surface, creating tiny, expanding ripples, then disappearing. These small, transient disturbances were the only sounds, apart from the gentle, rhythmic gurgle of the nearby fountain. Slaves, having diligently completed their arduous daytime chores, moved silently through the arcades, preparing for evening duties. A young serving girl, barely visible in the deepening gloom, carefully extinguished the last few remaining braziers. Their embers had glowed throughout the day, providing warmth for cooking and for drying various fragrant herbs. Now, only wisps of faint, fragrant smoke curled gracefully upwards, dissipating into the cooler evening air. The mosaic floor, intricately patterned with scenes of marine life, felt cool and smooth beneath bare feet. Each tiny tessera, meticulously placed by skilled hands, told a silent story of ancient artistry and painstaking dedication. A solitary bat, a dark, fleeting shadow, flitted silently across the open expanse of the sky above the courtyard. Its silent, erratic flight was a subtle reminder of the nocturnal world beginning to awaken slowly around the villa. The potted plants, carefully arranged along the colonnades, exuded their subtle, enchanting evening perfumes. Fragrant jasmine and delicate roses released their sweet scents, mingling with the earthy aroma of damp soil. The air felt refreshingly crisp, a welcome change from the oppressive heat of the long, arduous day. A distant dog barked once, a muffled sound that seemed to reinforce the pervasive silence rather than break it. The villa's cat, a sleek black creature, stalked a phantom mouse among the shadowed garden beds, utterly silent. Its movements were fluid and graceful, a silent hunter perfectly at home in the encroaching darkness. The statues of various Roman deities, standing proudly in their niches, seemed to watch over the scene. Their marble eyes, though sightless, conveyed an ancient wisdom, a silent guardianship over the villa. They had witnessed countless sunsets and sunrises, generations of Romans living out their peaceful lives. The gentle murmur of the villaress residents settling in for the night was a comforting and familiar sound. It was the quiet hum of a well-ordered household, functioning seamlessly without any discernible effort. Children, their youthful energy finally depleted, were undoubtedly already tucked into their soft beds. Their innocent dreams would soon fill the quiet corridors of the sleeping Roman household. The flickering light from a few scattered oil lamps cast long dancing shadows that stretched and contracted. These playful shadows created a mesmerizing, ever-changing tableau on the courtyard walls. The sounds of the city, usually a distant, faint drone, had completely faded, replaced by the profound quiet. Only the rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze offered a subtle, natural accompaniment to the hush. The air itself felt heavy with the promise of deep, restorative slumber, a pervasive sense of peace. Even the very stones of the ancient villa seemed to sigh contentedly, settling into the night's embrace. The moon, a pale sliver in the darkening sky, began its slow ascent, casting a silvery glow. Its gentle light illuminated the courtyard with a soft, ethereal radiance, adding to the tranquility. The distant hoot of an owl broke the silence momentarily, a low, resonant call across the countryside. It was a sound deeply ingrained in the fabric of ancient Roman nights, a timeless, natural rhythm. The cool, damp earth released its earthy scent, mingling with the subtle perfumes of the evening plants. This was the essence of a Roman evening, slowly, beautifully, unfolding in utter, peaceful quietude. The villa was a sanctuary, a haven from the world's clamor, a place for profound rest and rejuvenation. Every breath taken in this courtyard felt deeper, more nourishing, imbued with the quietude of the night. The stars, tiny pinpricks of light, began to emerge, forming familiar constellations in the vast sky. They looked down upon the sleeping villa, silent witnesses to the passage of time and daily routines. The gentle drip of water from the fountain was a persistent, soothing rhythm, a natural metronome. It marked the slow, inevitable march of time towards the profound and peaceful depths of night. Soon, the only sound would be the gentle, even breathing of the villa's inhabitants, deeply asleep. The courtyard, a beautiful heart of the home, now settled into its own profound, nocturnal slumber. It held the day's memories within its ancient stones, now resting until the first rays of dawn. Chapter 3. Sounds of the kitchen, even in the evenings, deepening quiet. The villa's large kitchen maintained a low, comforting hum of activity. The aroma of freshly baked bread, still warm from the immense brick oven, gently permeated the air. Slaves moved methodically, efficiently cleaning the large bronze cooking pots and various utensils. The scraping of wooden spoons against ceramic bowls created a soft, rhythmic, almost hypnotic sound. A large, open hearth, though no longer roaring, still radiated a comforting, residual warmth. Its remaining embers glowed a dull, sleepy red, casting a faint, flickering light on the surrounding walls. Water dripped slowly from a large earthenware jug into a basin, a persistent, soothing cadence. The faint rustle of dry herbs, meticulously hung from the wooden rafters, added to the ambient sounds. An older cook, his face lined with years of culinary wisdom, methodically sharpened a large carving knife. The gentle rasp of metal on stone was a precise, almost meditative sound, a testament to his skill. He hummed a low, tuneless melody to himself, a soft, private accompaniment to his evening tasks. The wooden preparation tables, scrupulously scrubbed clean, reflected the faint light from the oil lamps. Tiny bits of discarded vegetables, carefully swept, were gathered for the next morning's compost heap. The clinking of ceramic plates, being stacked neatly on shelves, created a delicate, rhythmic sound. A younger slave girl carefully stored away the last of the day's leftover food in cool storage areas. The faint creak of a wooden lid being lowered onto an amphora was a soft, final note of the day. The lingering scent of roasted meats and sweet pastries still hung subtly in the warm, enclosed space. It was a comforting aroma, promising delicious meals and the satisfaction of a well-fed household. The kitchen, though less bustling, still retained an air of quiet efficiency, a place of constant provision. The heavy, solid oak door to the pantry creaked softly as a slave entered to retrieve a final item. The rhythmic breathing of the sleeping guard dog, curled by the hearth, was a low, guttural purr. Even the mice, usually daring, seemed to have retreated into the shadows, sensing the approaching quiet. The large, open window, offering a glimpse of the starlit night, allowed a cool breeze to enter. It carried with it the distant, faint sound of crickets, a tiny, natural orchestra beyond the villa walls. The cook wiped down his hands on a coarse linen cloth, a final, deliberate gesture of completion. He then carefully placed his sharpened knife back into its designated wooden block with a soft thud. The kitchen had been the beating heart of the villa throughout the long, demanding daylight hours. Now, it too was slowly preparing to surrender to the pervasive, comforting embrace of the night. The flickering light from the oil lamps danced on the ceiling, creating a mesmerizing, shifting display. These dancing shadows seemed to tell tales of delicious meals and lively conversations, now fading. The profound quiet of the villa slowly began to seep into the kitchen, softening its remaining sounds. The rustling of a broom sweeping the last few crumbs from the floor was a soft, almost whispered sound. Each movement was purposeful, quiet, contributing to the overall sense of approaching repose. The kitchen slaves, their faces tired but content, prepared to seek their own well-deserved rest. Their labor, though arduous, ensured the comfort and sustenance of the entire Roman household. The faint smell of wood smoke, now mingling with the food aromas, created a uniquely comforting scent. It was the smell of hearth and home, of ancient traditions, faithfully carried out through generations. The kitchen was slowly transforming from a place of active labor to one of quiet anticipation. Soon, only the faint echoes of the day's culinary symphony would remain within its stone walls. The last clink of a metal pan being hung up marked the complete end of the day's cooking tasks. The profound silence that followed was a testament to the efficient completion of all duties. The kitchen, now clean and orderly, waited patiently for the dawn's first light to awaken it again. It held the promise of new flavors and new meals, but for now it simply embraced the quiet. The remaining warmth from the hearth was a gentle, palpable presence, a lingering comfort. It slowly diffused into the cool night air, leaving only a memory of the day's vibrant activity. Chapter 4. The library's hush. The villa's expansive library, usually a place of quiet study, was now utterly consumed by the evening's hush. Rows upon rows of neatly rolled papyrus scrolls filled the wooden shelves, reaching almost to the high ceiling. The subtle scent of aged papyrus, dried ink, and fragrant cedar wood permeated the entire vast space. Moonlight, a pale, silvery glow, streamed through the open, arched windows, illuminating dust motes. These tiny particles danced lazily in the beams, performing a slow, silent ballet in the still air. A heavy bronze lamp, left unlit, stood sentinel on a large, intricately carved wooden lectern. Its polished surface reflected the faint moonlight, creating a soft, almost ethereal luminescence. The bust of a renowned Greek philosopher, perched on a pedestal, seemed to gaze into the tranquil void. His marble eyes, though sightless, conveyed an ancient wisdom, a silent witness to countless hours of study. The comfortable couches, usually occupied by readers, now sat empty, their cushions undisturbed. Their richly woven fabrics, though subdued by the dim light, hinted at their luxurious textures. A discarded stylus lay abandoned on a low table, its purpose fulfilled for the long, arduous day. Next to it, a small wax tablet bore the faint, barely legible indentations of forgotten notes. The only sound was the almost imperceptible whisper of the night breeze through the open windows. It carried the faintest echo of a distant, hooting owl, a sound that underscored the profound silence. The very air within the library felt thick with accumulated knowledge, a palpable sense of history. Each scroll contained worlds of information, narratives of battles, philosophies, and epic poems. But now, these countless words rested, silent and unread, awaiting the dawn's reviving light. The profound stillness was a balm to the senses, a complete respite from the day's demands. It invited contemplation, a peaceful reflection on the vastness of human thought and creativity. The shadows, long and unwavering, seemed to emphasize the sheer volume of intellectual wealth. They clung to the shelves, obscuring titles, leaving the scrolls to their quiet, individual meditations. The library was a sanctuary, a sacred space dedicated to learning and intellectual pursuit. In the darkness, its vastness seemed to expand, stretching beyond the physical confines of the walls. One could almost hear the silent whispers of ancient authors, their words resonating in the stillness. Cicero's eloquent phrases, Virgil's epic verses, Livy's grand histories, all resting peacefully. The cool night air gently drifted through the room, stirring a few loose papyrus fragments on a table. Their soft rustle was a delicate, almost imperceptible sound, a gentle breath in the deep quiet. The weight of accumulated knowledge felt comforting rather than oppressive, a rich tapestry. It was a reminder of the enduring legacy of Rome, preserved within these very walls for generations. The library cat, its soft paws made no sound on the polished floor, a silent guardian of the sleeping wisdom. It would pause, its emerald eyes gleaming in the faint light, before continuing its solitary patrol. The world outside the villa, with its bustling politics and daily clamor, seemed infinitely far away. Here, in the hushed embrace of the library, only timeless knowledge and profound peace resided. The profound quietude deepened as the night progressed, becoming an almost tangible presence. It filled every nook and cranny, permeating the very essence of the ancient, hallowed space. The scrolls, wrapped tightly, seemed to hold their secrets close, awaiting a fresh eye and mind. They were guardians of the past, waiting patiently to impart their wisdom to future generations. The moonlight, now a stronger, more pervasive glow, painted the room in shades of silver and gray. It was a scene of perfect, undisturbed repose, a testament to the night's deep tranquility. The library truly embodied the peaceful intellectual heart of the ancient Roman villa. It was a place where one could simply be, surrounded by history and enveloped by profound quiet. The very air seemed to hum with silent stories, waiting for the dawn to bring them back to life. For now, it was a temple of sleep for knowledge itself, a place of profound and utter rest. Chapter 5. The Sleeping Gardens. The sprawling, meticulously designed gardens of Villa Amelia were now completely enveloped in night's embrace. The intricate pathways, paved with smooth river stones, gleamed faintly, guiding unseen, phantom footsteps. Fragrant night-blooming jasmine released its intoxicating perfume, carried gently on the cool evening air. The tall cypress trees, standing like dark sentinels, cast long, imposing shadows across the manicured lawns. Their graceful forms seemed to reach towards the vast, star-studded expanse of the silent heavens above. The gurgling of the ornamental fountains, a gentle, persistent murmur, was the only discernible sound. Its rhythmic flow created a natural lullaby, perfectly attuned to the profound quiet of the night. The marble statues of nymphs and gods, positioned strategically among the foliage, appeared to slumber. Their classical forms, softened by the darkness, took on an ethereal, dreamlike quality in the moonlight. The neatly trimmed hedges, forming elaborate labyrinths, seemed to invite quiet, contemplative strolls. Now, however, they stood undisturbed, their green leaves resting silently, awaiting the dawn. The delicate petals of the sleeping roses were tightly furled, protecting their beauty from the nocturnal chill. Small, unseen insects rustled softly in the undergrowth, their tiny movements barely disturbing the quiet. The large, ancient olive trees, their gnarled branches reaching skyward, appeared as silent, stoic observers. They had witnessed centuries of peaceful evenings, generations passing through the tranquil grounds. A faint, almost imperceptible dew was beginning to form on the delicate blades of grass and leaves. It shimmered faintly in the moonlight, tiny jewels adorning the sleeping botanical tapestry. The world beyond the garden walls seemed impossibly distant, a forgotten, bustling memory. Here, only the profound and utterly natural rhythms of the night held sway, a perfect symphony of peace. The garden pool, its surface still and reflective, mirrored the countless stars above with perfect clarity. It was a liquid mirror of the cosmos, bringing the vastness of the universe down to earth. The gentle coolness of the air was a soothing caress on the skin, a refreshing balm after the day's heat. Even the very earth seemed to exhale slowly, releasing the last vestiges of the day's stored warmth. The rustling of a solitary leaf, stirred by the softest breath of wind, was a whispered secret. It was a moment of natural magic, a tiny sound in the profound and enveloping silence of the night. The sleeping birds, nestled deep within the protective branches, were completely quiet, utterly still. Their tiny, rhythmic breaths were a silent contribution to the pervasive calm of the environment. The scent of damp earth, mingling with the floral perfumes, created a complex, intoxicating aroma. It was the very essence of a Roman garden at night, a deeply comforting and evocative fragrance. The shadows, long and deep, embraced every corner of the vast garden, adding to its mysterious allure. They softened the edges of familiar shapes, transforming the daytime landscape into a dreamscape. The pathways, usually trodden by many feet, now lay pristine and undisturbed, awaiting morning. The statues, now truly silent guardians, seemed to watch over the tranquil repose of the garden. Their ancient forms were imbued with a timeless serenity, a sense of enduring peace and quiet. The garden was a living tapestry, now carefully folded for the night, waiting to unfurl again. It held the promise of vibrant life and natural beauty, temporarily suspended in peaceful slumber. The profound silence was broken only by the gentle trickle of water, a constant, soothing presence. It was a natural lullaby, inviting deep, restorative sleep to all who resided within the villa's walls. The air felt heavy with peace, a palpable sense of calm that permeated every leaf and every stone. This was the true, quiet beauty of a Roman garden after sunset, slowly settling into its rest. It offered a profound sense of natural harmony, a perfect balance of light, shadow, and silence. The very soul felt soothed by the garden's nocturnal embrace, a deeply comforting experience. Chapter 8. The Night Watch. Even as the villa slept, a quiet vigilance permeated its outer perimeters, a testament to ancient Roman order. The night watchman, a sturdy, aging former legionary named Lucius, patrolled the outer walls with silent steps. His heavy cloak, woven from coarse wool, offered protection against the chill of the deepening night air. A simple, unlit lantern swung gently from his hand, its presence a comfort rather than a source of light. His leather sandals made only the faintest scuff on the cobbled paths that encircled the vast property. His eyes, accustomed to the darkness, scanned the shadows, alert to any unusual movement or sound. The occasional hoot of a distant owl was the loudest sound, a natural part of the pervasive nocturnal symphony. He carried a short, sturdy cudgel, its weight familiar in his hand, a silent assurance of protection. Lucius had served the family for many years, his loyalty unwavering, his duty a deeply ingrained habit. He knew every stone, every tree, every subtle creak and groan of the ancient villa in the darkness. The distant glint of starlight on the leaves of the olive trees created shimmering, ephemeral patterns. These tiny flashes were the only visible movements in the profound stillness of the sleeping landscape. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the faint scent of damp earth and the distant aroma of the fields. He paused by the main gate, its heavy timbers securely bolted for the long, peaceful night ahead. He ran a calloused hand over the rough wood, a silent affirmation of its strength and security. The profound quiet of the countryside at night was a familiar companion, a soothing presence. It was a stark contrast to the cacophony of the city, a welcome respite for his aging ears. He listened intently, his senses sharpened by years of disciplined service, attuned to the slightest deviation. The rustling of a small nocturnal animal in the undergrowth was a common, easily identifiable sound. He moved on, his shadow stretching long and distorted in the faint moonlight, a silent, solitary figure. His thoughts were simple, focused on his duty, on the peace and safety of the sleeping household. He remembered his days in the legions, the constant vigilance, the harsh demands of military life. This quiet, solitary patrol was a gentle echo of those times, but imbued with a deep sense of peace. The villa, bathed in moonlight, seemed to slumber peacefully under his watchful, experienced eye. He was a vital, unseen cog in the intricate machinery of the Roman villa, ensuring its continued tranquility. The distant baying of a shepherd's dog from a far-off farm provided a brief, melancholy counterpoint. It was a sound of the vast, open countryside, a reminder of the world beyond the villa's secure walls. Lucius reached the far corner of the property, a point overlooking the sprawling vineyards. The rows of dormant grapevines stretched into the darkness, a dark, undulating sea under the stars. He lingered for a moment, admiring the profound beauty of the night, its vastness and its peace. The cool breeze played with the edges of his cloak, a gentle caress in the pervasive stillness. He felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing that his vigilance contributed to the villa's deep repose. His steps, though steady, were imbued with a gentle rhythm, a quiet dance with the night. He made his slow, methodical circuit, a silent guardian of the ancient Roman way of life. The stars above seemed to twinkle with a renewed brilliance, reflecting the profound peace below. They were silent witnesses to the enduring cycle of day and night, of work and peaceful rest. Lucius completed his round, returning to the small, sheltered alcove by the servants' quarters. He would sit there, a silent, unwavering presence, until the first faint blush of dawn touched the eastern sky. His duty was a quiet one, often unacknowledged, but utterly essential to the villa's peaceful existence. He closed his eyes briefly, allowing the profound quiet to seep into his very being, a comforting balm. He was a part of the night, a silent, watchful shadow guarding the sleep of those he served. Chapter 7. The Master's Cubiculum within the deepest quiet of the villa. Marcus's cubiculum, his private bedchamber, was a sanctuary of profound peace. The heavy woolen curtains, drawn tightly across the windows, blocked out the last vestiges of moonlight. Only a single, small oil lamp, its wick turned low, cast a gentle, warm glow upon the room. Its soft light danced subtly on the intricately painted frescoes that adorned the walls and high ceiling. These depictions of idyllic pastoral scenes seemed to lull the mind into a state of deep, peaceful contemplation. The large four-poster bed, draped with fine linen and soft wool blankets, invited deep slumber. Its wooden frame, though sturdy, was barely visible in the subdued light, a dark, comforting shape. Marcus lay upon it, his breathing slow and even, a picture of profound and utterly undisturbed rest. His toga, meticulously folded, rested on a nearby wooden chest, its formal presence momentarily forgotten. A faint, earthy scent of dried lavender, placed in small pouches, permeated the air, a natural sedative. It mingled with the subtle aroma of olive oil from the lamp, creating a deeply calming fragrance. The only sound was the almost imperceptible whisper of his own steady, rhythmic respiration. Even the distant sounds of the sleeping villa seemed to have receded completely from this inner sanctum. The weight of the blankets felt comforting and secure, a gentle pressure that encouraged deeper sleep. His mind, no longer burdened by the day's responsibilities, drifted freely through pleasant, formless thoughts. The worries of the vineyard, the ledgers, the household, all dissolved into the welcoming abyss of sleep. He was truly at peace, his body and mind completely surrendered to the restorative power of the night. The faint warmth from the oil lamp provided a subtle, pervasive comfort, a gentle warmth in the cool air. His hands, loosely clasped on his chest, were relaxed, their day's work completely and utterly done. The profound stillness of the room was a tangible presence, a comforting blanket of absolute quiet. It was a quiet so deep, one could almost hear the gentle passage of time, flowing imperceptibly onward. The heavy, solid door of the cubiculum ensured complete privacy, a sealed chamber of profound rest. He shifted slightly, a minor adjustment, before settling back into the profound depths of his sleep. A faint, almost imperceptible smile touched his lips, a silent acknowledgment of his deep contentment. Dreams, soft and ephemeral, began to weave their intricate patterns within the canvas of his sleeping mind. They were gentle narratives, unburdened by reality, reflecting the serene peace of his present state. The cubiculum was truly a haven, a place where the weary spirit found complete and utter repose. It was the culmination of a long, productive day, now ending in perfect, uninterrupted tranquility. The oil lamp, its flame barely visible, continued its silent vigil, a tiny beacon in the darkness. It would burn throughout the long night, a testament to the enduring peace of the Roman home. The quietude deepened, becoming an almost sacred presence, filling every corner of the sleeping chamber. This was the profound and intimate beauty of a Roman master's sleep, utterly undisturbed and complete. He would awaken refreshed, renewed, ready to embrace the dawn and the duties of a new day. But for now, only the deep, silent embrace of slumber held him utterly and completely at peace. The faint, rhythmic ticking of a simple, water-powered clock in the distance was almost imperceptible. But even that sound was too faint to disturb the deep, pervasive calm within the cubiculum's walls. Marcus slept, a silent figure in the quiet dark, surrounded by the peace he had cultivated. His villa, his life, his very being, all converged in this moment of perfect, unburdened rest. Chapter 8. The night watch. Even as the villa slept, a quiet vigilance permeated its outer perimeters, a testament to ancient Roman order. The night watchman, a sturdy, aging former legionary named Lucius, patrolled the outer walls with silent steps. His heavy cloak, woven from coarse wool, offered protection against the chill of the deepening night air. A simple, unlit lantern swung gently from his hand, its presence a comfort rather than a source of light. His leather sandals made only the faintest scuff on the cobbled paths that encircled the vast property. His eyes, accustomed to the darkness, scanned the shadows, alert to any unusual movement or sound. The occasional hoot of a distant owl was the loudest sound, a natural part of the pervasive nocturnal symphony. He carried a short, sturdy cudgel, its weight familiar in his hand, a silent assurance of protection. Lucius had served the family for many years, his loyalty unwavering, his duty a deeply ingrained habit. He knew every stone, every tree, every subtle creak and groan of the ancient villa in the darkness. The distant glint of starlight on the leaves of the olive trees created shimmering, ephemeral patterns. These tiny flashes were the only visible movements in the profound stillness of the sleeping landscape. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the faint scent of damp earth and the distant aroma of the fields. He paused by the main gate, its heavy timbers securely bolted for the long, peaceful night ahead. He ran a calloused hand over the rough wood, a silent affirmation of its strength and security. The profound quiet of the countryside at night was a familiar companion, a soothing presence. It was a stark contrast to the cacophony of the city, a welcome respite for his aging ears. He listened intently, his senses sharpened by years of disciplined service, attuned to the slightest deviation. The rustling of a small nocturnal animal in the undergrowth was a common, easily identifiable sound. He moved on, his shadow stretching long and distorted in the faint moonlight, a silent, solitary figure. His thoughts were simple, focused on his duty, on the peace and safety of the sleeping household. He remembered his days in the legions, the constant vigilance, the harsh demands of military life. This quiet, solitary patrol was a gentle echo of those times, but imbued with a deep sense of peace. The villa, bathed in moonlight, seemed to slumber peacefully under his watchful, experienced eye. He was a vital, unseen cog in the intricate machinery of the Roman villa, ensuring its continued tranquility. The distant baying of a shepherd's dog from a far-off farm provided a brief, melancholy counterpoint. It was a sound of the vast, open countryside, a reminder of the world beyond the villa's secure walls. Lucius reached the far corner of the property, a point overlooking the sprawling vineyards. The rows of dormant grapevines stretched into the darkness, a dark, undulating sea under the stars. He lingered for a moment, admiring the profound beauty of the night, its vastness and its peace. The cool breeze played with the edges of his cloak, a gentle caress in the pervasive stillness. He felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing that his vigilance contributed to the villa's deep repose. His steps, though steady, were imbued with a gentle rhythm, a quiet dance with the night. He made his slow, methodical circuit, a silent guardian of the ancient Roman way of life. The stars above seemed to twinkle with a renewed brilliance, reflecting the profound peace below. They were silent witnesses to the enduring cycle of day and night, of work and peaceful rest. Lucius completed his round, returning to the small, sheltered alcove by the servants' quarters. He would sit there, a silent, unwavering presence, until the first faint blush of dawn touched the eastern sky. His duty was a quiet one, often unacknowledged, but utterly essential to the villa's peaceful existence. He closed his eyes briefly, allowing the profound quiet to seep into his very being, a comforting balm. He was a part of the night, a silent, watchful shadow guarding the sleep of those he served. Chapter 9. The Stars Above. As the hours deepened into the profound core of the night, The vast Roman sky revealed its full celestial splendor. Countless stars, like scattered diamonds on black velvet, glittered with astonishing brilliance above the sleeping villa. The Milky Way, a faint, luminous band of nebulous light, arced majestically across the northern horizon. Each distant sun, a silent beacon, contributed to the pervasive, ethereal glow of the night sky. The moon, now high in its tranquil arc, cast a soft, silvery radiance over the entire landscape below. Its gentle light illuminated the villa's tiled rooftops, transforming them into shimmering, ghostly forms. Familiar constellations, recognized by generations of ancient astronomers, slowly drifted westward. Orion the hunter, with his sparkling belt, appeared to stalk silently across the celestial dome. The Big Dipper, easily identifiable, pointed its ladle towards the steadfast North Star, a reliable guide. The profound silence of the night allowed the imagination to soar, carried by the vastness of the cosmos. One could almost hear the silent, majestic dance of the planets moving in their ancient, unseen orbits. The air felt thin and crisp at this late hour, imbued with a palpable sense of cosmic grandeur and immensity. It was a moment for quiet contemplation, a realization of humanity's small place in the boundless universe. The sleeping villa below seemed tiny, a fragile human endeavor against the backdrop of eternity. Yet, within its walls, life continued its gentle rhythm, a testament to enduring human resilience. The stars bore silent witness to countless generations of Roman lives, passing quietly beneath their gaze. They had seen empires rise and fall, witnessed triumphs and tragedies, all under their unchanging light. The ancient Romans believed the stars held profound destinies, influencing human fate with their silent power. Even now, their distant, unwavering light seemed to hold secrets, ancient wisdom beyond human comprehension. A solitary shooting star streaked briefly across the darkness, leaving a luminous, ephemeral trail. It was a fleeting moment of celestial magic, a silent wish whispered into the vast, cosmic expanse. The profound quiet of the night was only deepened by the vastness of the silent, star-filled heavens. It was a quiet that invited introspection, a deep connection to something infinitely larger than oneself. The villa's inhabitants, deeply asleep, were utterly unaware of this magnificent, silent, celestial display. Their dreams, perhaps, were infused with the subtle energy of the stars, their silent, cosmic influence. The constellations seemed to move with a profound, unhurried grace, marking the slow passage of time. They were a natural clock, guiding the night watchman and ensuring the accurate measure of the passing hours. The very air seemed to hum with the silent energy of the cosmos, a gentle, pervasive vibration. It was a reminder that even in the deepest slumber, the universe continued its majestic, unending dance. The celestial dome felt incredibly close, a vast, comforting blanket draped over the sleeping world. It offered a sense of profound security, knowing that order prevailed even in the deepest darkness. The stars, ancient and eternal, promised the return of dawn, the endless cycle of light and shadow. They were a constant, unchanging presence, a source of quiet comfort in the ephemeral world. The quiet of the night was truly majestic, a profound symphony of silence and celestial light. It was a moment to simply exist, to absorb the boundless beauty of the silent, star-filled Roman sky. This was the profound and utterly peaceful culmination of a long, quiet Roman evening. Chapter 10. The deepest slumber. As the night progressed towards its tranquil zenith, the entire Roman villa descended into its deepest, most profound slumber. Every living creature within its ancient walls, from the master to the lowliest slave, was now utterly at rest. The gentle, rhythmic breathing of the sleeping household filled the quiet corridors, a faint, collective murmur. It was a sound so subtle, it was almost imperceptible, blending seamlessly with the encompassing silence. No light flickered from any window, no sound of movement disturbed the absolute stillness within the villa. The very air felt thick with peace, a palpable sense of calm that permeated every stone and every beam. Dreams, soft and ephemeral, wove their intricate tapestries within the minds of the sleeping inhabitants. They were unburdened by the day's concerns, reflecting the profound tranquility of the night. The cool, damp air of the pre-dawn hours settled gently, wrapping the villa in a comforting embrace. It carried the faint, sweet scent of night-blooming flowers and the earthy aroma of damp soil. The distant hoot of an owl, now a sporadic sound, seemed to emphasize the pervasive silence rather than break it. Even the occasional rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze felt like a whispered secret in the profound quiet. The villa itself seemed to breathe with its inhabitants, a living entity in perfect, serene repose. Its ancient stones, warmed by the day's sun, now radiated a subtle, comforting coolness in the darkness. The statues in the gardens, the columns in the atrium, all stood as silent witnesses to this deep peace. They were guardians of the night, ensuring the undisturbed rest of the entire Roman household. The only movement was the slow, imperceptible drift of the moon across the vast, star-filled sky. It casts long, shifting shadows that danced a silent, ethereal ballet on the sleeping landscapes below. The profound quiet was absolute, a powerful and encompassing presence that filled every nook and cranny. It was a quiet so deep, one could almost feel the very essence of time slowing, becoming boundless. The world outside the villa, with its distant cities and bustling roads, was utterly forgotten, a mere echo. Here, within these ancient walls, only the profound, restorative power of sleep held sway, undisputed. The deep slumber was a balm to weary bodies and tired minds, promising renewal and fresh energy. It was the culmination of a long, productive day, now gracefully yielding to the night's quiet embrace. The very fabric of the Roman home was steeped in this peace, a timeless rhythm of rest and activity. Each breath taken in this deep slumber felt nourishing, replenishing, imbued with profound tranquility. The softest touch of the pre-dawn breeze was a gentle caress, promising the approaching light. But for now, the darkness held supreme, a comforting cloak of absolute, undisturbed quietude. The villa was a sanctuary, a haven of peace, a place where profound rest was deeply honored. It was a perfect end to a Roman evening, slowly, beautifully, sinking into the arms of deep sleep. The silence was so complete, one could almost hear the soft unraveling of the day's memories. They dissolved into the vastness of unconsciousness, preparing the mind for the freshness of morning. The anticipation of dawn, though still hours away, was a subtle, comforting undercurrent of peace. But for this moment, only the deep, profound, and utterly enveloping silence truly reigned supreme. The entire villa slept, a testament to order, to peace, and to the enduring rhythms of ancient life. It was a scene of perfect, undisturbed repose, a tranquil tableau under the vast Roman sky. Chapter 11. The echoes of day, even in the profound stillness of the Roman night. Faint, subtle echoes of the day's diligent activities subtly lingered within the villa's ancient, venerable walls. The warmth of the afternoon sun, deeply absorbed by the massive aged stone, still radiated ever so subtly, a gentle, comforting presence in the now cool evening air. A faint, pleasant scent of freshly ground grain from the morning's laborious milling subtly permeated the air near the domestic quarters, a silent, humble promise of future bread. The soft, transient impression of a human hand on a highly polished marble banister remained, a ghost of human touch in the pervasive quietude of the darkening villa. Tiny dust motes, gently disturbed by the daytime breezes, had now completely settled, lying utterly still on every undisturbed ancient surface, utterly at peace. The distant, sweet memory of children's joyful laughter seemed to gently hover in the vast empty courtyards, a sweet, fleeting phantom sound, barely discernible. A discarded tool in the bustling workshop, left precisely as it was at the cessation of labor, spoke volumes of work, merely paused, not yet finished, patiently awaiting the dawn. The lingering, subtle aroma of beeswax polish from the morning's meticulous cleaning exquisitely scented the cool, still air in the master's expansive, quiet study. A solitary amphora, left casually leaning against a cool stone wall, still held the faint, rich, comforting aroma of the fine wine it had contained earlier in the day. The quiet, almost imperceptible hum of the deep well, used frequently throughout the long, arduous day, still resonated faintly within its deep, cool stone shaft. A stray feather, dislodged gently from a soft linen pillow, lay motionless on the floor, a silent, delicate testament to a head resting profoundly and peacefully. The faint, almost imperceptible scent of wood smoke from the nearby hearths delicately permeated the central large living areas, filling the space with warmth. It was a deeply comforting aroma, profoundly associated with hearth and home, a powerful, quiet memory of the day's various, continuous activities. The intricate patterns in the meticulously crafted mosaic floors seemed to gently hold the invisible imprint of countless footsteps, now silent, unseen, and utterly still. Each minute detail, however small or seemingly insignificant, subtly contributed to the profound, lingering presence of the long, full day within the deep embrace of the night. The very ancient stones of the villa seemed to recall the daytime bustle, now holding it gently, silently, within their deep, enduring, ancient memory, utterly calm. These faint, lingering echoes were not disturbances in any sense, but rather soft, gentle whispers, adding profound depth to the already pervasive, encompassing quietude. They were subtle, pervasive reminders of a life lived fully, of purpose thoroughly fulfilled, now peacefully awaiting the profound and complete renewal of a new morning. The villa, though deeply asleep and seemingly motionless, quietly retained the gentle, indelible imprint of its vibrant, active, and productive daylight hours. It was a silent, powerful testament to the continuous, rhythmic flow of life within its ancient, enduring walls, a perpetual, quiet rhythm of existence. These lingering, unseen sensations made the already pervasive silence even more profound, transforming it into a rich, intricate tapestry, subtly woven with timeless memory. They added a subtle, yet deeply comforting layer of familiarity, to the dark, making the vast night feel profoundly safe, familiar, and deeply comforting to all. The villa was not simply empty of activity. It was profoundly filled with the gentle, unseen remnants of its active, bustling, and productive days. It stood as a silent, majestic repository of human presence, now waiting patiently for the early morning light to gently reawaken its very spirit and essence. The air itself felt surprisingly thick with these quiet, pervasive echoes, a pervasive sense of profound continuity and deep, enduring, timeless peace. Chapter 12. The Moonlight's Gentle Embrace. The pervasive flow of pure moonlight into the villa's many open spaces began a silent, mesmerizing performance. Through the elegant peristyle, softly painted the intricate mosaic floor in ethereal shades of shimmering silver and profound, deep charcoal. The majestic columns, once starkly white in the sun, now stood as ghostly, luminous pillars, gracefully reaching towards the vast, starlit sky. The surface of the impluvium, transformed into polished obsidian, flawlessly mirrored the luminous moon and the countless distant stars. Tiny ripples on the water's surface, caused by the faintest breeze, sent intricate, shimmering patterns dancing across the open space. These undulating patterns gracefully glided across the ancient walls, creating ephemeral, constantly shifting, mesmerizing designs. In the grand atrium, the moon's precise beam moved with exquisite slowness, traversing the dark, polished marble floor like a silent spotlight. It softly touched a single, forgotten vase, momentarily transforming its dull ceramic into a glowing, translucent object. Through narrow, arched windows, slivers of pure moonlight cut geometric lines across the dark interior rooms, illuminating the still air. They briefly illuminated hidden patches of ancient frescoes, bringing mythological figures to ethereal life for a fleeting, magical second. The garden statues, exquisitely bathed in this silvery light, appeared to glow from within, imbued with an otherworldly, serene grace. Their classical stone drapery seemed to ripple in the soft light, their expressions softened as if awakening to the night's deep magic. Long, elongated shadows stretched from every obstacle, creating a silent, intricate ballet of forms. They danced elegantly on the ancient walls, flowed across the polished floors, constantly reshaping the familiar landscape of the sleeping villa. The very air itself seemed to shimmer with the moon's gentle energy, a palpable, cool luminescence filling every corner. It was a light that profoundly softened all harsh edges, transforming the mundane into something mystical, beautiful, and enchanting. The pervasive moonlight rendered the world in soft monochrome, removing distractions of color, thereby enhancing visual perception. You could trace the delicate veins in marble, the intricate patterns in fabric, all subtly revealed by its compelling glow. The sleeping plants in the garden deeply absorbed its serene energy, their leaves shimmering faintly in the pervasive light. Even the tiniest dust motes, caught in a stray lunar beam, sparkled like airborne constellations within the still, unmoving air. This silent, majestic play of light and shadow was a performance for no human audience, unfolding in perfect, undisturbed quiet. It was the night's own exquisite artistry, painting the magnificent Roman villa with brushstrokes of shimmering silver and deep, inky black. The moon, a solitary, silent beacon, majestically presided over this transformation, acting as a timeless, cosmic choreographer. It profoundly imbued the familiar surroundings with a sense of quiet wonder, making the vast, sleeping villa feel enchanted and magical. Every surface that gently caught its serene radiance seemed to softly hum faintly with a quiet, peaceful, ancient energy. The profound quiet of the night was remarkably amplified by this visual symphony, creating a truly captivating, immersive, peaceful experience. Chapter 13. The Whispers of the Walls. The ancient, enduring stone walls of the magnificent Roman villa, though outwardly silent, seemed to hold countless subtle, whispered memories within their very core. Each carefully cut block, each meticulously placed brick, had deeply absorbed centuries of human presence. Becoming saturated with their silent stories, they quietly retained the faint, joyful echoes of laughter from long-forgotten banquets, now muted to a gentle, almost imperceptible, continuous hum. The fervent debates of insightful philosophers, the quiet, patient instructions of learned tutors, subtly resonated softly within their profound, ancient depths. The faint clinking of delicate glasses, the soft, melodious strumming of a lyre, the quiet rustle of a discarded scroll, all were subtly imbued in the very stone. One could almost sense the gentle, unhurried passage of time elegantly etched into their worn, ancient surfaces, a silent, powerful, enduring narrative. The cool, smooth plaster, meticulously painted with vivid, captivating frescoes, seemed to profoundly breathe with the quiet, untold stories of the distant past. These unyielding walls had silently witnessed countless joys and profound sorrows, the sacred moments of births and inevitable deaths, the endless cycle of human existence. They had deeply absorbed the comforting warmth of countless fires, the bracing chill of countless winters, their fundamental substance remaining utterly unchanging. The subtle, pervasive scent of aged plaster and dry mortar delicately permeated the still air, creating a timeless, comforting aroma of deep antiquity. Even the tiniest cracks, gracefully forming intricate networks, subtly told silent tales of settling foundations and profound, enduring architectural strength. The strong, resilient walls had faithfully protected countless generations, stood firm against raging storms, and profoundly sheltered the deep, sleeping household. They were the silent, unwavering guardians of privacy, diligently enclosing the intimate lives, gracefully unfolding within their protective, ancient embrace. In the profound quiet of the deep night, their collective history seemed to subtly pulse with a low, almost imperceptible, deeply resonant vibration. It was a pervasive feeling of enduring stability, a palpable connection to the vast, boundless expanse of the majestic Roman past, stretching into eternity. One could lean gently against them and almost feel the accumulated wisdom and profound serenity subtly radiating outwards, a pervasive, calming aura. These walls were not merely static structures. They were profound repositories of time, memory, and deep, encompassing, and utterly profound quiet. They whispered eloquently of resilience, of profound beauty, of the slow, inevitable, and majestic march of history, profoundly contained within their ancient confines. The very silence of the night remarkably allowed these subtle, ancient whispers to gently emerge, soft, pervasive, and deeply, exquisitely resonant. They added a deep, resonant layer to the pervasive quietude, a profound sense of continuity, and profound, enduring, and utterly timeless peace. The villa's walls truly embodied the enduring spirit of ancient Rome, standing strong enduring, and profoundly peaceful through all ages. They held the precious past securely, offering a comforting sense of profound rootedness to the present inhabitants, connecting them to their heritage. Their silent, unwavering presence was a powerful, eloquent testament to the enduring longevity of the ancient Roman way of life and its traditions. Chapter 14: The Breath of the Olive Grove. Beyond the villas, meticulously cultivated, vibrant gardens, the ancient, sprawling olive grove slumbered deeply, exhaling a rich, the gnarled, twisted trunks of the venerable trees, many centuries old, stood as silent, stoic monuments in the profound, moonlit landscape, deeply rooted. Their silvery green leaves, rustling faintly and delicately in the gentle, cool breeze, created a soft, continuous, whispering sound, a natural symphony. This almost imperceptible, rhythmic murmur was the grove's quiet, natural lullaby, softly sung to the deeply sleeping villa nestled peacefully below. The cool night air carried the distinct, peppery aroma of pure olive oil, a profound and pervasive scent of the fertile ancient land itself. It mingled subtly with the cooler night air, creating a uniquely comforting, deeply natural, and profoundly evocative perfume, filling the senses. Long, undulating shadows gracefully stretched from the ancient trees, dancing slowly and serenely with the subtle shifts of the pervasive moonlight. These ancient trees had silently witnessed countless majestic sunsets and awe-inspiring sunrises, generations of Roman life quietly unfolding beneath them. They bore the profound marks of time, their twisted, resilient branches gracefully reaching towards the vast, silent, and intensely star-filled heavens above. Each tiny olive, a perfect, dark jewel, clung quietly, patiently to its sturdy branch, awaiting the next prosperous, abundant harvest. The ground beneath them, softly covered in fallen, dry leaves and sparse, resilient grass, deeply absorbed the night's profound, encompassing silence. The gentle coolness of the air was a soft, refreshing caress, gracefully drifting through the ancient, hallowed, and deeply peaceful grove. A lone, nocturnal bird, perhaps a watchful owl, hooted softly and melodically from the deep, shadowy depths of the ancient, protective branches. Its mournful, resonant call echoed gently, a distant, natural, and profoundly calming sound in the pervasive, enveloping quietude of the night. The olive grove was a place of profound, natural peace, a timeless landscape deeply connected to the very essence of the earth. It profoundly embodied the enduring spirit of the Roman countryside, its quiet productivity and its ancient, unbroken, natural rhythms. The deep, earthy breath of the olive grove was a calming, pervasive presence, a subtle, constant reminder of nature's gentle, enduring power. It subtly seeped into the villa's very essence, mingling with the domestic sense, adding a wild, natural, and calming element to the pervasive peace. The deep, profound quiet of the night remarkably allowed this subtle, natural symphony to gracefully unfold, silent and deeply resonant in the stillness. It was a profound invitation to peace, a natural sedative for the weary mind and body, inviting complete surrender to rest. The majestic olive grove, a powerful symbol of peace and prosperity in the ancient world, silently guarded the villa's profound slumber. Its ancient, calming energy powerfully contributed to the overall sense of deep tranquility that permeated the entire, expansive Roman estate. The very air itself seemed to hum with the quiet, enduring vitality of these magnificent, resilient, and profoundly ancient trees. Chapter 15. The Silent Statues. Throughout the villa's numerous courtyards and meticulously designed gardens, the pristine marble statues stood in profound, unwavering, and eternal silence. Their classical forms, carved with meticulous, exquisite detail, seemed to subtly breathe with an ancient, timeless, and deeply serene grace. Bathed in the soft, diffused moonlight, their noble features softened, gracefully gaining an ethereal, almost living quality, shimmering gently. The delicately draped robes of a graceful goddess, the powerfully muscular form of a valiant hero, all imbued with an otherworldly, gentle glow. Their sightless eyes, carved into the cold marble, gazed serenely into the profound darkness, conveying a sense of deep wisdom and quiet, eternal watchfulness. They were the silent, unchanging witnesses to the villa's bustling daily life, now majestically presiding over its deep, undisturbed, and profound slumber. Each statue held a profound story, a captivating myth, a fundamental piece of ancient Roman belief, now unspoken, held securely within the unyielding stone. The cool, smooth marble felt almost alive to the touch, subtly retaining the day's absorbed warmth in its silent, deep, and ancient depths. Shadows, long and unchanging, clung gracefully to their sturdy pedestals, emphasizing their profound stillness and imposing, silent presence in the night. They had patiently endured countless centuries, standing firm against the elements, embodying lasting, classical beauty and enduring strength. The gentle coolness of the night air settled softly upon their surfaces, a refreshing, silent, and ethereal caress in the pervasive stillness. They stood as silent, unwavering guardians of the garden's profound peace, serene and resolute amidst the sleeping, quiet foliage. A faint, almost imperceptible gleam caught the exquisite edges of a marble curl or the elegant fold of a chiton, subtly reflecting the light. These silent figures contributed deeply, profoundly, to the pervasive sense of peace that enveloped the entire, vast, sleeping villa. They were majestic anchors of deep antiquity, connecting the present tranquil moment to the vast, boundless expanse of timeless Roman history. Their profound stillness was a powerful lesson in absolute quietude, inviting deep contemplation and a profound sense of inner serenity. The statues seemed to gently hold their breath, unwilling to disturb the profound and encompassing silence of the quiet night. They were exquisite, artistic expressions of profound beauty, now transformed by the gentle moonlight into silent, spiritual, and compelling presences. The very air around them felt deeply imbued with their silent, ancient energy, a timeless, tranquil, and profoundly calming aura. They truly embodied the quiet dignity and enduring, classical beauty of a Roman night, utterly at peace and perfectly serene. Chapter 16. The slaves' quarters. Even in the humble, unadorned slaves' quarters, a profound and weary quiet had mercifully settled, bringing deep, restorative, and much-needed sleep. The small, simple, shared rooms, though basic in their furnishings, were now filled with the gentle, rhythmic breaths of slumbering, exhausted bodies. No light shone from their narrow, utilitarian windows. Only the absolute darkness of a long, deep, and utterly peaceful night prevailed. The rough straw mattresses, though humble in appearance, offered a welcome respite from the day's incessant, demanding, and arduous toil. The subtle scent of tired bodies, gently mingled with dry straw and faint wood smoke, was a human, comforting, and deeply familiar aroma. Each individual, having labored tirelessly and without complaint throughout the long day, was now utterly surrendered to profound, unburdened rest. The profound quiet was broken only by the occasional soft sigh, a gentle shift of a weary limb, or a soft, rhythmic snore, barely audible. These are the universal sounds of deep, unburdened sleep, the body finding its profound peace after arduous, continuous, and demanding work. Their hands, calloused and strong from daily labor, lay completely relaxed, momentarily free from the continuous demands of their masters. Dreams, simple and profound in their purity, perhaps of distant freedom or cherished family, gently visited their weary, resting minds. The coolness of the deep night air subtly seeped into the small, enclosed spaces, offering a comforting relief from the day's lingering heat. Their quiet, steady breathing filled the small rooms, creating a gentle, collective hum of profound human repose and deep rest. The heavy weight of their daily burdens was temporarily lifted, replaced by the profound lightness and freedom of deep slumber. They slept soundly, trusting implicitly in the night watchman and the villa's general security for their complete safety and protection. The profound silence that pervaded the grand villa extended even to these most humble of chambers, embracing all within. It offered a universal balm, an indiscriminate peace that embraced every soul within its ancient, protective walls, without distinction. Their quiet repose was absolutely essential to the villa's functioning, a vital component of its continuous, seamless operation. Without their labor, the villa could not possibly thrive. Without their rest, they could not sustain their demanding work. So, their deep, peaceful sleep was a fundamental, integral part of the villa's enduring peace and its continuous, quiet rhythm. They were a silent, often unseen, but utterly crucial foundation of the vast Roman household, now resting deeply and profoundly. The night mercifully offered them a precious, invaluable commodity, complete and utter, undisturbed stillness and quietude. It was a quiet dignity, a humble repose, found deep within the magnificent heart of the great Roman villa, utterly peaceful. Chapter 17. The fountain's constant murmur in the midst of the villa's pervasive, profound silence. The courtyard fountain maintained its gentle, persistent, and utterly soothing murmur. The cool, pristine water, carefully collected from distant, pure springs, continuously flowed from the elegant bronze spout, never ceasing. It cascaded softly and rhythmically into the impluvium basin below, creating a delicate, consistent, rhythmic splashing sound. This constant, soothing trickle was the only sustained, audible sound throughout the long, silent, and peaceful Roman night. It functioned as a natural metronome, subtly marking the slow, unhurried passage of time in the pervasive, encompassing quietude. The sound was not in the least intrusive. Rather, it blended seamlessly, perfectly, with the encompassing silence, thereby enhancing it. It offered a tranquil focal point for the senses, a gentle, melodic anchor in the boundless ocean of night's deep stillness. The water, gracefully catching the faint, shimmering moonlight, gently shimmered and danced, exquisitely reflecting the silent, star-filled sky. Its gentle undulations created ephemeral, shifting patterns of luminous light and soft shadow on the surrounding ancient columns. The cool, refreshing spray subtly moisturized the air, carrying a faint, clean, and profoundly pure scent of fresh water. It was a natural lullaby, inviting deeper, more profound relaxation, and more restorative, truly peaceful sleep to all within earshot. The fountain, an enduring, iconic feature of Roman villas, was a potent symbol of life, purity, and constant, natural renewal. Even in the deepest darkness, its gentle, continuous flow represented an uninterrupted cycle of natural beauty and enduring life. It whispered ancient, unspoken secrets to the deeply sleeping villa, stories of countless days and nights it had silently witnessed. The profound quiet of the night seemed to absorb the fountain's gentle murmur, making it feel even more subtle and profoundly gentle. It remarkably became a part of the pervasive silence, a subtle, melodic texture delicately woven into the very fabric of the deep dark. The sound was deeply comforting, a constant reminder of the enduring order and the natural, soothing rhythms of the world. It was a soft, persistent, and comforting presence, assuring all that, even in the deepest darkness, life continued its gentle, steady flow. The fountain's murmur was truly the villa's quiet, enduring heartbeat, pulsating gently and continuously throughout the long, peaceful night. It gently lulled the entire villa into an even deeper state of slumber, a profound and utterly undisturbed, tranquil repose. Chapter 18. The Scent of Earth and Stone. As the deep night intensified, the entire villa was permeated by the primal, comforting, and ancient scent of earth and enduring stone. The cool, damp earth from the expansive gardens released its rich mineral and deeply grounding aroma into the surrounding, still air. It mingled subtly with the faint, dry, and ancient scent of the villa's massive stone foundations and sturdy, ancient retaining walls. This profound combination of natural, living elements and robust, built structures created a unique, deeply grounding, and ancient fragrance. It was the very smell of deep antiquity, of timeless materials slowly settling into their profound, nocturnal, and utterly peaceful repose. The faint, pervasive coolness emanating from the massive, ancient stone blocks filled the interior spaces with a subtle, pervasive chill. This palpable coolness inherently carried the very essence of the earth itself, its profound stability and its enduring, quiet strength. The aroma of damp soil, disturbed by no human footsteps, drifted languidly through open windows and the cool, shadowy arcades. It gracefully brought with it the refreshing freshness of the open countryside, a subtle, natural connection to the surrounding wild nature. The scent of dry, ancient stone was profound and deeply evocative, speaking of centuries of continuous exposure to sun and rain. It was the pervasive smell of permanence, of something that would long outlast the fleeting, transient lives of generations of humans. These earthy mineral fragrances settled heavily in the air, deeply contributing to the pervasive sense of profound, encompassing calm. They were deeply comforting, primal scents that invited the weary mind to utterly relax and gently surrender to profound rest. The villa itself seemed to softly exhale these natural aromas, a gentle, soothing breath in the deep, encompassing quiet of the night. They were constant, subtle reminders of the villa's deep rootedness, its profound connection to the very land from which it gracefully emerged. The profound silence of the night remarkably allowed these subtle, foundational scents to truly come to the fore, filling the senses. They created an atmosphere of deep security, a profound feeling of being embraced by the ancient, solid, and protective earth itself. This unique olfactory symphony was a perfect complement to the visual and auditory quiet of the serene Roman night. It grounded the entire experience, making the pervasive peace tangible and deeply, exquisitely real to all the senses. The villa was truly settling into the earth's embrace, absorbing its ancient materials in silent, profound, and deep harmony. Chapter 19. The Moon's Slow Journey. The moon, a silent, unwavering, and majestic orb, continued its slow, deliberate, and graceful journey across the vast Roman sky. From a delicate sliver in the early evening, it now swelled into a fuller, more luminous disk, casting stronger, more pervasive light. Its gentle, persistent movement was utterly imperceptible to the human eye, yet profoundly evident in the slow, shifting shadows. Long, precise lines of shimmering silver light slowly traversed the silent courtyards, painting new patterns on the ancient mosaics. The illuminated sections of wall gracefully expanded and contracted with profound, unhurried grace throughout the long hours. It marked the silent, majestic passage of the deep night, functioning as a cosmic clock for the vast, sleeping world below. The moon's light seemed to thicken, becoming almost palpable, a soft, pervasive, and utterly luminous glow over the entire villa. It profoundly imbued every surface with an ethereal, dreamlike quality, transforming the familiar into something mystical and grand. Its path directly over the villa was a powerful testament to the constancy of nature, a source of quiet comfort and stability. The stars, initially tiny, sparkling pinpricks, now dimmed slightly in the moon's growing radiance, taking a secondary, softer role. The cool air grew crisper and more profound as the moon majestically ascended, bringing the deep chill of the pre-dawn hours. The moon itself seemed to sigh, a silent, cosmic breath, as it continued its celestial, unhurried, and ancient voyage. It was a benevolent, watchful presence, gracefully watching over the sleeping villa with its ancient, unwavering gaze. Its slow journey profoundly reminded one of the vastness of time, the endless, recurring cycles of the universe. The profound quiet of the night deepened even further as the moon reached its zenith, presiding over absolute stillness. It promised the eventual, inevitable return of dawn, but for now, it championed the profound beauty of deep darkness. The villa, exquisitely bathed in this unchanging, gentle light, seemed to float in a boundless sea of luminous serenity. The moon's silent, majestic progress was a powerful symbol of enduring peace and the relentless, unending flow of time. It contributed immensely to the pervasive sense of profound calm that enveloped the entire, vast Roman estate. Every single moment of its slow, graceful journey added another layer of deep tranquility to the deeply sleeping villa. Chapter 20. The Promise of Dawn, even in the deepest, most profound hours of the night. A subtle, almost imperceptible, nascent promise of dawn gently began to stir. The air, though still enveloped in profound darkness, carried a faint, fresh, and undeniable coolness, a subtle shift in the nocturnal atmosphere. The countless stars, though still brilliant in the dark sky, seemed to twinkle with a slightly different intensity, hinting at a coming change. A subtle, pervasive coolness settled on everything. A dew point reached a natural, profound preparation for the sun's first golden rays. The profound silence remained utterly unbroken, but it felt imbued with a quiet. The villa, still completely immersed in its deep slumber, unconsciously absorbed this subtle, incoming energy from the distant eastern sky. No birds chirped their morning songs, no light yet broke the horizon. But the very essence of night felt poised on the absolute cusp of transition. The moon, having completed its majestic zenith, had gracefully begun its slow, elegant descent towards the distant western horizon. The earth, gently warmed by the long day and thoroughly cooled by the deep night, patiently awaited the sun's reawakening touch. This subtle, underlying promise of approaching dawn powerfully reinforced the profound peace of the current, tranquil moment. It was a gentle, constant assurance that the eternal cycle would continue, that profound rest would yield to renewed, vibrant activity. The deepest slumber was a perfect completion, offering total replenishment before the demanding duties of the new day began. The entire Roman villa, a bastion of ancient order and enduring peace, rested in this liminal space between profound night and awakening. It was a powerful testament to the enduring rhythms of life, of diligent work, and of the essential, restorative power of deep sleep. The quiet of the pre-dawn hours was sacred, a time of absolute stillness before the entire world began to stir with new life. The villa existed in this perfect vacuum of profound peace, awaiting the light that would bring it back to vibrant life. This profound, absolute silence was the culmination of a long, peaceful Roman evening, now entirely, profoundly at rest. It was a beautiful and encompassing quiet, gracefully holding the silent, potent promise of a new day just beyond the horizon. Chapter 21. The scent of night air, the Roman night air, now at its deepest, most profound chill, carried a wonderfully clean, refreshing scent through the villa. It was a complex, multi-layered fragrance, a delicate, harmonious blend of damp, rich earth, distant, cool pine, and blooming night jasmine. This pervasive, natural aroma subtly permeated every open space within the villa, settling gently within its quiet, echoing corridors. It brought with it the crisp freshness of the open countryside, a subtle, grounding connection to the untamed, natural world beyond the walls. The ancient scent of massive stone, now cool and dry from the evening chill, mingled with the faint, sweet perfume of deeply sleeping roses. This natural symphony of soothing smells enhanced the profound quiet, making the encompassing stillness almost tangibly palpable, deeply relaxing. It was an aroma that implicitly invited deeper, more mindful breathing, a slow, gentle inhalation of pure, serene, and encompassing peace. The very air itself seemed to hold its breath in respectful silence, absorbing these subtle, natural fragrances in the profound, undisturbed quiet. It was the authentic, unmistakable breath of the deep Roman night, profoundly comforting and utterly undisturbed, a balm to the senses. This particular, unique blend of natural scents was deeply familiar, a timeless essence of the ancient world ingrained in the very air. It subtly seeped into the sleeping villa's very core, promising rejuvenation and the cleansing, purifying power of the profound darkness. The air now felt lighter, clearer, carrying the subtle, pervasive promise of a new, fresh, and vibrant day soon to come. This gentle, pervasive scent contributed significantly and profoundly to the villa's overall tranquil atmosphere, enhancing the sense of repose. It was a constant, subtle reminder of nature's calming, enduring presence, even in the deepest, most silent hours of sleep. The air itself seemed to silently sing a gentle lullaby, imbued with the natural, soothing perfumes of the silent night. It made the grand villa feel deeply rooted in its natural environment, truly a part of the natural, peaceful world around it. This gentle olfactory experience was a perfect complement to the visual beauty and deep quiet of the Roman night. It grounded all the senses, inviting a deeper, more complete surrender to the profound peace of the profound slumber. The cool air felt wonderfully refreshing against the skin, a soothing, ethereal balm in the pervasive stillness of the late hours. It was truly the very scent of deep, restorative repose, of a world entirely at rest, utterly serene and perfectly calm. Chapter 22. The Garden's Hidden Life, even in the profound stillness of the sleeping Roman garden. A subtle, hidden, unseen life continued its quiet, ceaseless course. Small, unseen insects rustled softly in the dense, shadowy undergrowth, their tiny, delicate movements barely audible to the keenest ear. A lone beetle, its dark, iridescent shell gleaming faintly in the pale moonlight, slowly traversed a single, damp, cool leaf. Nocturnal moths, their wings silent and exquisitely powdery, flitted gently and gracefully around the fragrant, night-blooming flowers. Their delicate, erratic flight patterns were a graceful, ethereal dance in the cool, still air of the tranquil garden. The soft, rhythmic chirping of distant crickets provided a constant, soothing, almost hypnotic sound, a natural, quiet melody. These tiny, tireless musicians contributed their subtle melody to the pervasive, quiet, making it feel richer, deeper, and more alive. An earthworm, subtly disturbed by the pervasive coolness, slowly emerged from the moist, dark soil, diligently seeking the surface dew. Its slow, deliberate, and quiet movement was a silent testament to the quiet, ceaseless work of nature operating underground. A field mouse, tiny and incredibly cautious, scurried silently along the very base of a weathered garden wall, utterly unseen by human eyes. It paused briefly, its delicate whiskers twitching rapidly, before silently disappearing into a small, hidden crevice in the ancient, cool stone. The garden's nocturnal creatures conducted their quiet, vital lives, utterly oblivious to the deeply sleeping human world around them. Their small, vital activities were a subtle, profound reminder of nature's enduring, unseen, and tireless energy continuously at work. The profound quiet of the night allowed these minute, almost imperceptible sounds to surface, adding delicate texture to the pervasive stillness. Each gentle rustle, each tiny, almost silent movement was a whispered secret in the vast, sleeping landscape of the garden. The garden, though outwardly dormant and still, was inwardly alive with this quiet, hidden, and constant nocturnal activity. It was a delicate, intricate ecosystem, thriving beautifully in the profound peace and undisturbed darkness of the long night. The subtle hum of tiny wings, the faint, almost imperceptible scratching of tiny claws, contributed to the gentle, natural symphony. These hidden lives added a layer of profound, natural beauty to the villa's nighttime serenity, making it richer and deeper. They were a silent testament to the continuous, unending flow of life, even in the deepest, most silent hours of slumber. The garden was truly breathing, its quiet, unseen inhabitants performing their nocturnal duties with quiet efficiency. It was a living tapestry of quiet, small wonders, gracefully unfolding under the silent, watchful, and ancient stars. Chapter 23. The distant echo of the sea from far beyond the rolling, dark hills surrounding the villa, a faint, almost imperceptible echo of the distant, vast sea emerged. It was a low, continuous, almost imperceptible murmur, a subtle, rhythmic whisper carried on the cool, late-night breeze. This oceanic sigh was a profound, evocative reminder of Rome's vast empire, stretching to distant, shimmering, watery horizons. The gentle, ceaseless ebb and flow of the waves against the unseen shore created a timeless, deeply hypnotic sound. It was so subtle, it blended seamlessly, perfectly, with the encompassing quiet, becoming a natural, ambient, soothing hum. The air, though far inland from the coast, carried the faintest, almost intangible hint of salt from the distant, unseen coast. This saline essence mingled with the earthy scents of the villa's gardens, creating a unique, deeply evocative and calming blend. The sound was not in the least intrusive. Rather, it added a layer of profound depth to the villa's deep, encompassing stillness. It softly connected the deeply sleeping household to the greater world, to bustling trade routes and distant, active, ancient ports. Yet, here, nestled peacefully at the villa, the sound was transformed, becoming a calming, soothing, distant, and gentle lullaby. It eloquently spoke of vastness, of unseen, powerful forces, of the enduring power and tranquility of the grand natural world. The profound quiet of the night remarkably allowed this distant echo to surface, a subtle, pervasive, and comforting presence. It was a gentle, constant reminder that even in deep slumber, the world beyond continued its ancient, unbroken rhythms. The sea, a timeless, powerful entity, silently cradled the land, its distant voice a comforting, low, pervasive thrum. This subtle, pervasive sound enhanced the feeling of security within the villa's strong, protective, ancient walls. It was a constant, natural background symphony, a natural drone that invited deeper, more profound, and complete relaxation. The villa was truly isolated in its profound peace, yet subtly connected to the vast, encompassing world, a unique harmony. The distant echo of the sea was a final, profound, and beautiful element in the night's symphony of quiet. It made the silence feel even more encompassing, like a vast and limitless ocean of pure, undisturbed tranquility. This was the quiet grandeur of a Roman night, gracefully embracing both the near and the infinitely far. Chapter 24. The hearth's last glow in the central living areas. The grand, imposing hearth, though now long unlit, held a faint, deeply residual glow. Deep within its ancient, blackened stones, a few tiny embers still pulsed with a dying, sleepy, and quiet red light. These minute, glowing points were the last visible remnants of the long day's roaring, comforting, vibrant fire. They cast ephemeral, shifting patterns of faint, reddish light on the rough, smoke-stained brickwork of the immense chimney. The warmth emanating from them was now almost imperceptible, a ghostly, fleeting warmth in the cool night air. A subtle, earthy scent of fine wood, ash, and residual charcoal subtly permeated the immediate area around the hearth. It was a comforting, deeply nostalgic aroma, profoundly associated with warmth, home, and communal gatherings. The profound quiet of the night remarkably allowed these subtle, sensory details to surface, enhancing the atmosphere. The hearth, once the vibrant, beating heart of the family's gatherings, now rested in profound, silent repose. It had diligently provided sustenance, comforting warmth, and precious light throughout the long, productive Roman day. Now, its final, gentle glow was a quiet, poignant testament to its fulfilled purpose, patiently awaiting a new dawn. The shadows around it were deeper, more encompassing, as the last fading light slowly, gradually disappeared. It was a striking visual representation of the long day completely surrendering to the profound depths of the night. The hearth's last glow was a silent symbol of deep peace, of warmth fondly remembered, of life gently settling. It was a silent, comforting reassurance that the flame would be rekindled with the first gentle light of morning. The cool night air seemed to absorb the last vestiges of warmth, preparing the space for the new day's energy. This final, gentle glow contributed significantly to the pervasive sense of profound peace that filled the entire villa. It was a quiet, comforting presence, a silent guardian of the deeply sleeping household's tranquil repose. The very air around the hearth felt deeply imbued with this quiet, profound energy, a powerful sense of closure. It truly embodied the restful, peaceful end of a Roman day, gracefully slipping into the quiet embrace of night. Chapter 25. The villa's gentle sigh as the deepest hours of the Roman night settled entirely. The magnificent villa itself seemed to emit a soft, gentle, pervasive sigh. It was not an audible sound, but rather a profound, pervasive feeling, an almost imperceptible settling of its ancient, massive foundations. The very stones, thoroughly warmed by the long day's sun and thoroughly cooled by the deep night, subtly shifted, finding perfect rest. The sturdy wooden beams and strong rafters, having patiently supported the heavy tiled roof all day, now creaked faintly, gently settling. This collective sigh was the villa's profound, complete surrender to the absolute quiet and profound peace of the deep night. It was a subtle, pervasive exhalation, gracefully releasing the last vestiges of the day's bustling activity, embracing complete stillness. The profound silence was so deep, one could almost perceive this subtle, almost imperceptible structural settling of the building. It was the majestic building itself, settling into its own profound slumber, a living entity finding its own deep, tranquil repose. The air within felt perfectly still and heavy with this quiet contentment, a pervasive sense of profound and encompassing calm. Every single part of the villa, from its grand, impressive atrium to its humble service quarters, was perfectly aligned in repose. It was a powerful testament to its enduring strength, its centuries of standing firm through countless peaceful nights. The villa truly embodied resilience, deep peace, and the timeless, enduring beauty of ancient Roman architecture. Its gentle sigh was a comforting, pervasive presence, a silent assurance that all was well, all was utterly at peace. It was the culmination of the entire evening, a profound surrender to the restorative power of profound darkness. The villa, a silent, unwavering guardian of its inhabitants, now shared deeply in their deep, unburdened slumber. It seemed to fold itself gently into the very earth, becoming one with the quiet, sleeping landscape around it. This final, gentle sigh marked the complete, peaceful transition from day's end to night's deep, profound embrace. It was a profound and encompassing quiet, gracefully holding the entire villa in its tranquil, peaceful grasp. The structure itself seemed to breathe in the pervasive peace, patiently preparing for the vibrant reawakening of dawn. This was the Roman villa, a place of order and profound beauty, utterly at rest, utterly serene and complete.